Hello, my name is John Valentine, and in this course, I'll be talking about selling luxury products on Instagram and Facebook. So, as we all know, of course, Instagram is one of the biggest social media platforms in the world, and people are utilizing it to sell their products. And it's not just t-shirts, mugs, and stickers, but you can also really utilize Instagram in order to sell your higher-end luxury products. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this course. So, as you can see on screen, I have break down this video in a different various different topics. So as you can see, the first one is I'll be talking about your product photography, then talking about influencer partnerships, talking about behind the scenes, using user-generated content correctly, and finally talking a little bit more about ad targeting. And at the end, of course, I'm going to give you a summary of everything that I said in this video, and I'm going to give you some final tips and tricks. So make sure to stick around until the very end to see all that. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me today, and let's not waste any more time, and let's jump right into this first topic here. So when it comes to luxury products on Instagram and Facebook, your product photography is going to be key. Unlike some other products, they can get away with having, standard and average pictures of their t-shirts and mugs or whatever. But if you have a high quality product, you definitely want a high quality photo. So high quality product photography, especially important with these luxury items. The product is the star, and you really need to focus on showing off your product, because whether it is a high quality bag, or maybe you're creating luxury makeup, or you're creating whatever, an $800 lipstick, you definitely want to show off that product, because that product is the star, and you want to have super high quality product photography, not just for your ads and for your paid ads, but just for your everyday posts on Instagram and Facebook, because people are going to see that, and people are going to automatically know that it is a luxury product if you focus on the right photography. So if you can't do it yourself, you definitely want to get help in some capacity. If you're a luxury product, I'm assuming you have some kind of budget, so definitely try to budget a photographer and a professional photographer in that aspect. If you don't, and you are starting off your company with a luxury product, you just need to study a little bit yourself and try to get that right. And another great idea is to use lifestyle photos, like products in action. Think about having drinks for friends, and then somebody puts their luxury bag on the table. This is just a rough example, of course, but showing off your product in the natural environment and in a luxury environment is also going to be key. Again, not just for your ads, but also for your just daily posts and stuff like that. So whatever the product that you have, if you're a handbag, you can walk around the city. If you have a luxury watch, use a luxury car. So stay consistent with your brand, and really try to focus on showing off your product in the best way possible, and in the best way that you can afford to do it. And of course, this will result in people automatically understanding the value of your brand. So let's talk about influencer partnerships. Whether you're using Instagram, Facebook, or even any other kind of social media, influencers play a huge role, and partnering with them is going to be very key, even in the luxury market. So, sometimes people might think that influencer partnerships only work for consumer brands, normal, regular standard consumer brands, but for the luxury consumer brands, such as, whatever, like I said before, makeup, handbags, whatever it is that you're doing, having these influencer partnerships are also going to be very important. Because when you use influencers, the right influencer can not only convey the message of what you're trying to do, but it can also act as a spokesperson for them. So if you choose the right influencer, it can really convey the message of a status symbol. So just think of whatever influencer that you might want to help represent your brand. You definitely want to try to choose the right one, of course, as well. But once focusing on that and building that partnership can really help propel your product. Again, like I said, not only does it show it off to their followers, but it also can help sort of solidify your product, your luxury product, as a status symbol for being able to sponsor them and being able to work with that influencer as a person. So just in general, right now on social media, influencer marketing is one of the best digital marketing routes of all time. They build trust and elevate your brand's status. So just keep in mind to do your research, not just on their followers, but mainly on their engagement. How do people engage with them? They might have a million followers, but only get like 1,000 likes. So if you have 1 million followers, see what kind of engagement they have. If they have 100,000 followers and they get 15 likes, well, it's probably obviously bought it. So always focus on the engagement as well. If they have 100,000 followers and they get 50,000 likes, well, that's just an insane engagement rate. So try to get people with a great engagement rate. Also focus and also do research on their voice and their background. Maybe they speak up politically about certain things, and you want to make sure that it aligns with your beliefs as a company. Maybe they talk about certain things that people wouldn't like. Maybe they talk about certain things that don't fit with your brand. Even though their account looks great and it looks like it might work with your brand, you do definitely want to do your research on their background and their voice, so that if they stand for your brand and they partner with you, that you don't get sort of flack for partnering with them, and see what kind of backlash you would get for working with them. So always want to make sure that they are definitely the partner that you want to be working with. So taking the customer and taking people behind the scenes is going to be key in promoting your products on social media. Luxury brands most often have a unique story. That's what makes them luxury. If you think of other brands like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Dior, all these brands have a long history. Some of these brands like Louis Vuitton, they're hundreds of years old, and if you go to their website, if you sometimes go to their social media, they will talk about their history, and they can bring up how long they've had that name and that brand behind them. Of course, these are just examples. Maybe there are other better ones, but having a unique story, especially behind your luxury brand, is what often sets apart this luxury brand. That's what makes them luxury in the first place, because you're offering an alcohol drink that has been cured for 80 years. It has been sitting there in a barrel for 80 years, and that's why it makes a luxury, because it's been worked on for 50 years or whatever it is. So you definitely want to focus on showing that story, and you want to show off the story behind your brand, and not just your long history behind the brand and maybe your unique story, but just in general also your production. So think about the legacy and whatever sustainability or handmade work that goes on behind your products, and you want to show off your unique factor by showing the behind the scenes. So show off your process, show off your special value and hard work that goes into it. Maybe you're creating handmade candles that take 2 months to create, because you're doing everything from scratch, and then you create the flavor and the smell yourself, and you go to France to source your materials and stuff like that. You can create this create content and document that story, and you want to show that off in your social media, because first of all, it backs the idea that it is a luxury product, and it also shows people a deeper insight. Be like, wow, this much work goes into it. They're more ready to invest in a brand that has that much history and that much effort behind the product. So you definitely want to try to focus on your behind the scenes and communicate your luxury status. So use Facebook and Instagram stories. Highlights are a great way to keep up with that story as well. You can create highlight stories that be like our process of making a candle, or our process of this, or our history over the last 100 years, or maybe you're a newer brand, or how we came about in the last 5 years and stuff like that. So creating these highlight stories and on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that, it can really help solidify your status as your idea of a luxury status. So of course, also be careful. You don't want to reveal any industry secrets to your competitors, and also you want to make sure that it does look luxurious. If you have certain limits in whatever product that you're creating, you do want to make sure that if you are showing it off, it sends the right message. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So a lot of brands on social media use user-generated content, and if you don't know what that means, it basically means using content and posts that your customers have created. For example, if you create t-shirts and somebody posts a selfie in your t-shirt, then sometimes a brand can repost those and use them for their own account and stuff like that. So for luxury products, be careful in using user-generated content and make sure to use it correctly. Generally, it's always a great idea to have user-generated content, because it gives social proof. It gives real people's opinion, and shows off real people using your product, which is always a great idea, and it shows it in the real world with real people. So usually it performs better in ads than posts. If you have an advertisement paid ad, for example, on Instagram or on Facebook, and you're showing people using your perfume and going out or stuff like that, it can definitely perform better, and it's always great. That's why you have those ads with people using your product. So just keep in mind also to not post everything though, because sometimes there has been instances where brands have like an automated AI that kind of just uploads posts whenever people use a certain hashtag on, especially on Twitter. And well, as you can imagine, a lot of people posted pictures that weren't really appropriate or used names that weren't really appropriate, and that brand account would automatically post them. So you definitely don't want to do that. You definitely want to double check yourself and make sure that the posts that you're uploading with people using your brand is in the right way. Maybe people are using it in not a way that you would want your brand to be perceived as. So you definitely want to make sure that your brand and your products are being used in the right way. So make sure they're presented right, and also make sure that they're high quality, because maybe somebody's using your your handbag, and then they post a picture and it doesn't look that great because the lighting is off, or it just looks bad because it's sitting on the floor somewhere. Well, that doesn't really give the great idea of a luxury product. But if they show a picture of them wearing a handbag and they're walking around in a mall, or they're at a tennis game, or they're at a they're in the box seats at a football game, well, that would be a great way to post that. But always make sure that they are using your products the right way that you would want it to be represented. So another important part is, of course, to focus on the right ad targeting on Instagram and Facebook and just in social media. But focusing on Facebook ads and Instagram ads, you definitely want to make sure that you're using the correct ad targeting, especially for luxury products. Not everybody will be able to buy your product because it is a luxury. People, if you don't target it right, people will be exposed to it who can't even buy it. If you have a handbag for $900, well, not everybody in the world is going to be buying it. Normal people might not be able to afford that, and that's okay. But you definitely want to make sure to advertise to the right people, especially for Facebook ads and stuff like that, because you can get very, very specific. So you might be able to use ads like that to target to people if you're just looking for brand awareness. So even if you're targeting people that can't necessarily afford it, or you don't even know if they can afford it or not, but you're just promoting it to the masses to get your name out there and get brand awareness, then that's fine. But if you're looking for conversions and if you're looking for sales, then you definitely want to use advanced targeting. On Facebook, you can actually target household income based on their zip code, meaning you can focus on the top 5% income in that zip area, the top 1% and stuff like that. So you can really ensure that it's reaching your luxury clients, and you definitely want to make sure that you're doing that, and you're reaching your target audience if you're looking for conversions rather than brand awareness. But as always with all Facebook ads, you want to test, and then redirect your campaigns and adjust accordingly. So when it comes to Facebook ads, testing and adjusting is the key when it comes to creating conversion and creating campaigns that convert well into sales. So just to summarize the whole course, as I said in the beginning, you definitely want to use high quality product photography. Your product is the star. If it's a luxury product that's going to cost a lot, you're going to want to show it off in the right way, 4K video quality as best as you can, and utilize the right people, and maybe hire somebody to really take some great pictures of your products. Then also utilize influencer partnerships with the right people. Make sure that you're partnering with the person that is very representative of your brand in terms of voice and their background, and of course also their engagement and following on social media. Then you want to show off the behind the scenes, tell your story, show off why your product is luxury, talk about your history, talk about your process of creating the product, and so on. And then make sure to select the right user-generated content. Make sure that if you are posting content, it is presented in the right way and it is appropriate. Don't just let people upload automatically on your website or anything like that. So always make sure that everything is in accordance to that. And of course, last but not least, of course, set the appropriate ad targeting and make sure that you're targeting your exact clients and your luxury clients, especially if you're looking for conversions. And use the Facebook ads advanced targeting software and feature, and use the Instagram ads that work well and address your target audience. But yeah, that's basically going to be it. So thank you so much for joining me today. I do have some great news. I am launching a weekly newsletter for digital marketing social media tips every week that you can read in 5 minutes. So make sure to click the link in my bio and sign up for that if you're interested in that. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope to see you in the next video, and goodbye.